E3 2016 is happening. Kinda Funny's going all out with Let's Plays and reaction videos all week long. Subscribe now at youtube.com/kindafunnygames to not miss a thing. What's up, guys? Welcome to the first ever E3 2016 Day 2 Kinda Funny Gamescast.
A misnomer.
Recap.
I agree it's day 2 of E3, but
yeah,
we had
whatever.
2 days
Day
of
two
work
of the
before then, so
convention.
technically 4.
I know. It's almost over.
Almost.
I'm having a good time, though.
I knew you would. See, this is a fun E3.
It's an alright E3.
So
Now that you're
I want to
acknowledging that, it's
talk
fun,
about. I want to talk about what we got to play today. Colin,
Yeah.
what'd you play today?
I only played one game, which was Horizon. We just did a conversation about that. It's a PS4 exclusive from Guerrilla Games. Saw it behind closed doors, saw a new part of the game, then played it myself. You guys can watch the conversation that we'll put up about it for like the full impressions, but the brief take on it is this game is going to be fucking huge. It is really fun. It's robust. It is interesting. It is intriguing, and that's why it won my Face Award again this year.
You gave it the Face Award.
And I still think that it's. I would still think it's very much in the running to win the Game of the Show award again.
Are all your faces out right now?
No.
You still got one in the play?
Yeah, I don't know what I'm going to do with it.
Okay.
There's some things I saw today that I might want to throw out there. So then I saw, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4 other games today. So I went to Telltale and I saw Batman.
Thoughts?
I like it. I mean, it's intriguing. I like Batman, like as a character. I like that world. I like the universe, and I thought it was. I know you saw it too. I thought it was interesting. Again, I don't know that I want to play it episodically. I just might wait until it's all out. Hopefully, it doesn't get spoiled for me. Who knows? But the one thing, my one takeaway from it is that he was playing with an Xbox 360 controller, indicating to me that it was on PC.
Yeah.
And it was still chugging.
That's what you said in the text to me, and I found that interesting because they were talking to me that my demo yesterday was their first day before the doors opened, and they said they were getting a new build. In my build, I'm not even Telltale fanboying, wasn't chugging, and because I thought, oh man, it's running so well. So for it to chug for you, that sucks.
Well, yeah, it wasn't like chugging constantly, but there were probably 3 or 4 moments where I was like, their frame rate drop or like was transitioning to another scene or whatever. It's not optimized yet. I mean, they're probably still in alpha. The game's not supposed to.
No, I'm just saying.
So I mean, I'm not trying to like criticize them. It certainly was running better and it looks better.
Yeah,
but
they were talking effects now and
but the one,
physics.
Job Stauffer, who's our good friend over at Telltale, who's like their PR and marketing guy, very nice guy. He's kind of busting my balls, being like, I can't believe you're even here to see this game because he knows how much shit I talk about them. But I wanted to see it, and you made that appointment for me because I'm such a big Batman fan. But I was a little disappointed. If there was one thing I was disappointed about in the conversation, the guy playing it was talking about like how someone asked like, how did you update the engine? Is this the new engine? He's like, well, we added cape physics and this and that. And I'm like, that's not really the problem with the engine.
I thought the problem was cape physics.
But I think they know. They're not dumb. Like it's a matter of the pipeline, and I get all that kind of stuff. But all told, super positive on it. Excited to play it. Will play it. It also made me kind of intrigued. Just watching it's a Telltale game. It plays exactly like any Telltale game. It's nothing different about it. But it does remind me that I still need to get back to The Walking Dead. 400 Days was the last thing I even played in that Telltale game, and that was ages ago. I played that on PS3. So it made me want to get back to that as well. And then I saw a trifecta of first party games that I think Greg saw 1 of or 2 of. We saw God of War.
We saw God of War together.
Which was, we did another conversation. We did a conversation on all 3 of these games actually. So you can watch really long form kind of things about these if you want. But God of War looks great. Very reactive to all of the problems that we had with God of War. I think you would agree.
Yep.
Kratos being a one-dimensional, angry, nonsensical character seems to be solved in this. They changed the camera angle to a more traditional third-person controllable camera instead of a fixed-angle camera or an immobile camera. Combat seems to be a little bit more refined. There are role-playing elements. My comparison when I saw the trailer to Tomb Raider seemed to be apt since Cory Barlog, who is the director of the game, said it is like Tomb Raider. It's a more open sections that are patched together. So it's not an open world, but it's open areas that are interconnected. So that seems pretty cool. Saw Detroit, which is extraordinarily fucking cool.
Yeah, I can't wait.
They played the section of the game that we saw in the trailer twice. And really explored the mechanics of the game. One of the cool things that they show with this character Connor, and I'm not sure if it's going to be with all the androids or just everyone, is that every choice you make and how much time you spend, like it actively shows you like what your percentage of success is going to be with your particular mission. And so the more time you take in this, the more that whittles down. But if you take the time and use it wisely and do smart things, then that time can be that time could be well spent. You can get like 10% more likelihood of succeeding if you do this, that, the other thing. What was cool about it was there was like a boiling pot of water on the stove, and he didn't even go after it. But I sensed that if you went to that was just a waste of time. Like to like go shut it off, like that doesn't do anything for you.
You can scan it.
So go watch that conversation too on youtube.com/kindoffunnygames, because I think that game is a return to form for Quantic, and I think people are going to really be really excited about it, because I think Beyond Two Souls, I think most people understand that game was just not very good. And then I saw Days Gone, which is Ben's game, and those guys were busting my balls a little bit in there after the fact, and Eric Jensen got a shout out from them and all that kind of stuff, who was the lead senior game designer over at Bend. I think the game is really cool, and I'm pulling for them. I think that the game is going to be a lot of fun. I like the aesthetic of it. I think it looks looks good. It runs on Unreal 4, which is really weird for a first-party game from Sony. It's all about these hordes of creatures called God, what the fuck are they called? I can't remember.
Creepers,
now.
are they called?
No. Fuck, I can't remember it. I'm so tired. Anyway, the point of this is that they're not dead. They're not zombies. They're alive. They need to eat and drink and sleep. So they are like they're a little smarter and a little more tactical, and they work in large numbers. And the idea in this particular part of the game that we saw, which is part of the game that we saw during the trailer, just played in different ways to just eliminate those numbers. The one interesting thing that we didn't talk about in the conversation, which I think is interesting, and I was talking to someone about this, was there's something more to read in Days Gone than the game itself or with Bend. This game indicates to me that The Last of Us 2 is not going to happen. Because if they're releasing a game that looks like it belongs in The Last of Us's universe, and then assume it comes out 2017 or 2018, The Last of Us 2, 2018, 2019, they're going to release these two games back to back from each other? I don't think so. So this indicated to me more than just the game from Bend itself. This indicated to me maybe a different, if they allowed this game to go forward, then does that mean The Last of Us 2 Naughty Dog's doing something else? Yeah. No, that's just total conjecture, but I just don't see them having 18 months apart games that are basically identical in terms of their feel, in terms of the way they look, in terms of their settings, even though the stories are obviously very different. So
you figure maybe the gameplay could be the differentiator, right? You're talking about earlier in the conversation you can catch of shooting a machine gun with 800 bullets and stuff. That's not Last of Us.
Freakers, nailed it. I think you could get away with it that way, in the same way like, hey, here's Dead Rising 4 and State of Decay 2. Like, zombies are still in. I know everyone keeps waiting for this fad to end. It isn't. And I'm one of the main guys who loves it, so I'm great. But that was the thing that they were saying. I mean, the guys from Bend were saying, like, we know we're on the cusp constantly of it being too much. Like, I do think zombies are too much, but like, there are examples of it being done right. No one's really tired, or a few people are, but a lot of people aren't tired of The Walking Dead yet. Their numbers are still killing when they're on AMC. People are still buying these games from Telltale and are excited about Walking Dead Season 3. Dying Light is a zombie game that found great success. State of Decay was a game that found great success over and over again. Dead Rising 4, as you mentioned. And I just feel like if the games are done properly, then the antagonists don't really matter. But they're not zombies, and that was the big thing that they're taking away from. Yeah, they look like zombies. They're fast, like some zombies are, and stuff like that. But I don't know. To me, I'm super intrigued by the narrative potential of this particular game. It takes place in Oregon, which is a strange place for a game to take place. There are no big cities or anything like that.
Lazy ass developers just looking out their window and being like, let's just set it in Oregon. God.
But the one thing that I want people to take away from, and we talk about this in the conversation, is this game might not be as close as we thought.
Yeah.
I asked John Garvin, who's the longtime lead of that studio, who wrote Siphon Filter, who wrote Resistance Retribution and Uncharted Golden Abyss, and is writing this game. Are we close? Like, you guys have been so silent for so long. Is this a 2017 game? Is it safe to assume that? He's like, that's not safe to assume. And so I didn't know. To what we were talking about before, it's 2016, highly unlikely. Does it mean that they're just not ready to dedicate themselves to 2017? Probably. Is it possible that it's going to be 2018? Maybe. So. But how much, if they really do release this game in 2018, that was 7 years since they released the game.
Jeez Louise.
And that's like really kind of absurd. So I hope that that's not the case.
Greg.
Yeah.
What did you get to play today?
I played a bunch of stuff today. I'll tell you what. I got around. I did a whole bunch of things. The first one I went to, I'll tell you what. I'm booking appointments. Somebody hits me up and they go, would you like to come see a Vita game? At which point I say,
Exceed?
Yes, I would exceed. I would love to come see a Vita game. I went and saw Akiba's Beat. You remember, of course, Akiba's Strip.
Of course.
Yes.
PS4 Vita.
Exactly. Instead, I went to see Akiba's Beat. Nick Scarpino bringing in beverages. Yes. Bring. Do you got a bottle opener? Find one. All right. Thanks, bud. Look at you. What a champ.
No, thank you.
So you sit down and play this game. It's what you'd expect from Exceed the Akiba series, right? You're running around Akihabara. You're this guy. You can play it on Vita. You can play it on PlayStation 4. It's like Persona Lite this time around, where it's like you're going and there's like a darkness infecting the city or whatever, and you have to go into dungeons and fight those dungeons. There's themed about where you are. It's like the maid cafe got taken over. We went in there and fought in a maid cafe like dungeon. There's an idle dungeon they showed. Gameplay's simple. It's, in the moment action. It's not like turn-based stuff like Persona. You can hop around to whatever character you want to be. You don't get to customize them in any certain way. So it's like, okay, cool. This guy uses a pistol. This guy uses a sword. That's how it works. That's your party. You go through, you find all these different people. Fun. I can totally see me getting it on Vita, screwing around with it, having a good time with it, horsing around, as they say.
Yeah.
Getting some trophies, Carl.
The good old trophies.
You want some good trophies? From there, went to Ubisoft with you, Tim Geddes. We again, just similar to Colin, have the reactions up already, but to put it out there in case, because this video isn't sponsored. Ghost Recon Wildlands. Holy fucking shit, was that fun?
Very
That is a game
impressive.
Kevin Coelho and I will be playing. We will be playing that at night. I will be having dates with Fran. Fran will be in our group. We'll be playing it. Sorry, I know you don't like Fran, Kevin, but. That was so much fun to go in there, find people, mark the targets, take them out, communicate with each other, have it be that you guys got into a helicopter and I got into a car and then you landed and I got in the you know what I mean?
Yeah, it was really funny because for everybody that's seen the press conference, that demo was awesome. We were all very impressed by it, but we were all kind of like, all right, guys, nobody's going to role play the characters this way, whatever. And granted, we were at Ubisoft with the Ubisoft guy leading us.
Yeah.
So he kind of set the tone, but he was like, all right, I'm Ghost Leader, you're Ghost 1, you're Ghost 2, you're Ghost 3. And the whole time we just kept on the headset referring to each other that way and said, all right, I'm going to do this. Tango's over there.
Nerds.
Whatever.
We were. It was so much
fucking
fun.
awesome.
It was so much fun to be like Ghost. Yeah, like, Tim's mic was dead. I'm like, Ghost 2 is dead. Leave him behind.
Yeah,
Doesn't matter.
it was so funny. Like stupid shit kept happening, and it was like the entire time we were thinking, like, man, the kind of funny doing.
We're doing let's plays of that for sure.
So
because like I'm just running around killing alpacas at one point, and
Yeah.
everybody's like yelling at me about it, and like that's gonna be Nick, obviously.
Yeah,
and
it was
there's so
good.
many points for Leroy Jenkins moments too, of like we're all sitting there sniping, and then like one guy screwed it up, and like they knew, and then it was just like go.
Well, that was my major takeaway from the kind of scripted thing they did at the UB press conference, which was, they have this situation where like they're infiltrating this camp, and then this guy blows it at like the last minute.
Yeah.
And no one's mad. I'm like, what the fuck, dude? Like you just totally blew it for us, and they're all like
That's
still
part of the
cooperating.
fun though of it. You know what I mean?
I would have been fucking pissed.
The game I think works in a really nice way where it kind of goes in phases where you're somewhere, you got to get to the encampment. So that's like step one, right? And people need to take charge and like leading that. How's it going to go? Because it's limited amount of vehicles. Who's going to take this? Who's sharing the vehicles? Who's going to be the gunner? Whatever. Then you get there, and then it becomes, all right, we got to mark the target. So you do that. You send your drones out. Thank you. The drones go fly out. You got to mark all the enemies and whatever. Then there's like, all right, you got to kill those guys. But you got to keep that guy alive. Then once you keep him alive, someone has to go get him. He runs away in a car. So then it's like, oh shit, get in the vehicles, get in the vehicles. And you go, and it's this scramble. But it's like, shit, we got to go get Ghost 4. Ghost 4 is just chilling there. Like we need to make sure he's with us too. So it's
Ghost 4 is a clown. Get him.
it was cool. And then it's like, it was a fun, very progressive moving thing, and I wonder how interesting it's going to be for hours on end.
See, my thing is, I think it's going to be very interesting because it just like the trailer gave me vibes of the Division, of the parts of the Division I really dug, of either how you played it solo or I played it with Fran all the time. Of like, cool, we're out on these missions, we're bullshitting around talking to each other, we're cleaning these guys' clocks. Like when they pulled out to the map and they showed, there's 100 story missions in all these different districts, and there'd be the face of like the guy who's in charge of that district and how close you were to taking him down or stuff. I can totally see that being that addictive role of like, well, let's just do. We're 2 missions away from clearing out this area. Let's do it and blah blah and bullshit around about it. And then it doesn't seem like the end game is going to be divisions where it's like, all right, let's get a gear, let's do this thing.
Yeah, it's definitely very interesting, and like we will 100% do a let's play that because that'll be super fun. Just to jump off of that. I got to play Sea of Thieves with Nick over at the Xbox booth.
Sure.
And I was really down on that when the conference happened. I thought that was the worst thing that they showed. And it is that game. It is. You're with a bunch of people and you're on pirate ships and stuff. There was something about it that was weirdly fun though.
Yeah.
And again, I think a lot of it was that we were doing a local land match with
Sorry, go ahead.
With the bunch of British dudes that are like acting like pirates and shit. And it made it kind of like it was really interesting, especially having Nick kind of take lead on it, where Nick was the captain. And
Yeah.
he's like directing the ship and stuff. But the game's designed so it's first person, and so you're very limited in what you can see.
Yeah.
So it's not like your Assassin's Creed where you're
You spin
steering
the camera, see
and
the whole
everything's
boat.
happening, and like you feel like you're really in control. If you're not working as a team, you ain't seeing shit. Because Nick's here with the steering wheel, and there's the sails in front of him, so all he sees is sail.
Yeah.
Like he can't see what's in front of him. So there has to be people that are kind of looking out up on the crow's nest. They're like, hey, there's rocks to the left, go to the right, stop, keep going this way, whatever. And the demo got progressively cooler when other groups and other ships started coming, because then there was decoy ships that they'd send in.
Yeah.
And so we're blasting this fucking pirate ship and there's nobody on it. And you can go and like abandon your ship and get on another ship. But then we did that and didn't leave enough people. So it was just Nick. So Nick couldn't do anything because he's just on the ship. And it was one of those things where this is going to be a really goofy Let's Play game.
Yeah.
So I was talking so much shit about their Let's Play thing that they showed in the conference. Granted, didn't think that was that great of a showing of it.
Yeah.
But you get a bunch of idiots like us together.
So how do you
doing it,
feel
it's gonna
about
be fun.
my analog to it being Evolve, where I feel like that it has the same pitfalls and problems as Evolve does, where if you get it out there and you don't have a dedicated team, like for us in Wildlands, I don't have friends with me, I'm just on my own, no big deal.
Yeah, I mean, playing what we played, it definitely seemed more like a game mode than it did a video game, like a full thing. I don't understand how this is really going to be a full experience.
Yeah.
What we did was pretty much like team deathmatch, kind of.
Sure.
There's just different groups of pirates, and you go out and you're trying to sink the other guy's ship. You know.
Okay.
So it's not so much specialized roles. Like you didn't. There's not like that guy is the guy that's steering the ship, and this is the guy that's doing the cannons and whatever. It's like it's kind of self-explanatory as you go. Cannonballs start hitting your ship.
You abandon
Holes
your
in the
post
ship,
to go to that.
The water starts filling in. Every character has wood that you can go down. You can start putting the wood on and like trying to get the water out and whatever.
Yeah.
But your ship's sinking. So it
Sure.
gets really stressful, and it just gets fun because it's like it goes from we're just on a boat and it's chill to all of a sudden everything's going to hell, and there's like cannons fucking flying everywhere and shit. And it was cool, but like, I don't think it's definitely not nearly as deep as Evolve or anything.
That's
it's
good.
it's pick up and play. I think it is the right way to go, and it's goofy and silly in a really rare way.
Yeah.
Everybody is equipped with wood and also an accordion. Or some other instrument.
Just what everybody needs.
So it's like
wood and an accordion. It's a fucking
you
Weird
can-
Al carpeting game.
You can build help build the ship back, or you could just play music. And I'm not really sure what the music did, but it was like piratey music and
Shillelaghs.
stuff. And it was the music would change based on what was going on. So shit's going down, dramatic ass pirate music's playing
Nice.
or whatever. But it's only if you're playing the music. So people would like Nick steer the ship, and we got these fucking assholes with accordions doing their thing, and people go with the other instruments and stuff. And it's like they're doing a good job of adding a lot of dumb little bullshit into it.
Yeah.
Where it's like, all right, this pirate ship's attacking us. Nick's trying to get us away, and then some assholes going down to the thing. It's just like, oh look, I found this thing. Oh, we should probably, you know what I mean? It's just
everything's
it's
going to
kind
hell.
of like the alpacas in Ghost Recon.
Yeah.
You're one asshole's going off doing something to fuck up the rest of the team, and that made it really fun and entertaining.
One thing you just reminded me of Ghost Recon. My one concern with Ghost Recon will be customization. I don't know if you're customizing your character, if you can fuck with your guns, if you're unlocking new guns, or if it's like not a lesser, a more casual SOCOM, where I'm in there and that's my guy and that's how it works. But from Ghost Recon, we went over and played Fractured But Whole. Or we didn't play. We watched.
We saw gameplay demo.
South Park Fractured But Whole. Looks awesome. There's another react sub about that. Everything I want out of that sequel. I love the comic book twist to it. I love where they're going. I love the that it's still South Park. I was telling him in the reacts column that it's like it's still it does seem very much like, the day after. Cartman's room still looks like Cartman's room from, Stick of Truth. Downtown still looks like Stick of Truth, except now like there's like treasure chests up there, and before I'd be like, oh, I'll get there eventually. But you do it now, but you do it through teaming up with other heroes. So like our guy, new kid, King Douchebag, teamed up with Kyle, who's Kite Man or whatever, to then Kite Man grabs him and then he farts up the wall and like fartcores it up there, like fartcore, gets up there and gets the treasure chest, and like that kind of shit's gonna be awesome.
Cool. That game sounds great. And it's smart of them too to keep everything static. I mean, South Park is an established place, but it's also rendered already and it exists, so they can probably just repopulate it.
And that's the whole thing. Is like my concern was going to be that it was like, oh, I feel like I was just here the last game looked like the show, so like this game should run better, but still look just like the last game.
The gameplay though looks really cool. Like the battle system,
Yeah.
it's very like a Fire Emblem or like a strategy RPG where it's like it's very grid based and spacing is just as important as attacking your enemies. A lot of the attacks that you have don't just damage them, but it also kind of pushes the space
Knock
that they're
them
at,
around,
and, like
yeah.
knocks them away, or just moves them off into different areas so that other people can like combo attack them and stuff. It looks really cool. I think it might be one of my Tim Geddes
one of your faces?
for kind of fun.
One of our awards for E3.
Awards, yeah.
I went over to Sony, played Gravity Rush 2. It is more Gravity Rush, which I'm down for. I didn't realize I was missing that. You know what I mean? I while playing it, I was like, man, I should go back and play Gravity Rush 1 again. I was like, well, no, I should just wait for this. 2016, no firm date. But it prettier. The environments are more fleshed out. There's more going on. It's not that green and brown color palette. It is blue. It is bright. Cat's still super cute. She's funny in the cutscenes. Teaming up with Raven seems like it's going to be fun. Same Gravity Rush problems, of course, where I'm shooting into space and then to go down here and then I'm about to land the kick, but no, I was just hit a wall and I'm stuck to that wall and I have to do all this stuff and hop around. The ability to switch between the light version and the heavy version, the Jupiter and Saturn or whatever, fine. I'm maybe deeper into the game, it'll matter more. Here it was just it gave me a ground pound when I was super heavy, and then when I was light, I was able to catch up to faster enemies and kick all around them in a combo on their heads. Fine, cool. More Gravity Rush. I think Gravity Rush is fun. I gave it a 7.5 back in the day, but that's when we were on a 20-point scale, so I might have gone a little bit higher than that. But this feels like that, and I'm ready for more of that. I appreciate that character. I'm ready to see more of Cat.
There's a Let's Play over on youtube.com/kindoffunnygames of Greg playing that.
Exactly. We covered God of War. I went and saw We Are Chicago. Now, this is a game I've been trying to see for literally months. I think it's been 2 PAXs maybe since I've been trying to do this. Super small indie team from Chicago. Went around, interviewed a bunch of inner city folks, families, whatever. It's a commentary on gang culture in Chicago, on race relations, on how hard it is to make it as a single parent household, all these different things. So in terms of what you'd be expecting to play it, expect a incredibly basic game, incredibly rough around the edges. It's clearly from a small team that's learning to make a game, but is trying to have a message and tell something or share a story similar to A Gone Home, similar to when Telltale really nails something. But you go through and it's first person perspective. You're playing as the son, Aaron, I believe, right? And you have a mom, you have a little sister. You guys live in the bad parts of Chicago downtown. And it starts. What I played is you're playing. You set the table. You have conversation trees. You have responses on how you want to respond to people. You talk to different people. Your friend's over, and there's gunshots outside. You can try. You can walk them home if you want. You can just say goodbye. I just say goodbye. I was like, you live here in inner city Chicago too. You know what's up. But then at the end, you're going to school. You run into another guy. Again, all these different dialogue choices. Start piecing together the story yourself. The other characters are voice acted, you aren't, so you make your choice and the text just pops on the screen. But you're walking and then a gang thing pops off and you're involved and it's this whole it's one of those games. It is rough around the edges. It's not going to win any awards for looks, but in terms of taking you and putting you in somebody else's shoes, that's when I think games really fucking hit something, and that's what they're going for. And granted, it's just a demo. I don't know, but I liked what I saw. I enjoyed what I saw. I would like to see the entire story and how it plays out and what the overall message is, other than everything's fucked. What do we do?
Yeah.
I think we all know that from watching the news.
Yeah.
But I like that part. Got to go see Persona 5. Not playable here. Not played live in front of me. It was a sizzle reel of 15, 20 minutes of footage jumping around with our friend John Harden from Atlas talking to me, walking me through what's happening in it. As you know, looks fantastic. It was interesting. I hadn't picked up on this, and of course, because we just had trailers here, and I'm not on blackout, but I'm not going in and reading Goldfarb's nerdy ass articles. I don't want to know that much about it.
Yeah.
But things to take away. The protagonist here, not a good guy. He's not necessarily a bad guy, like a murderer or something, but they call him an anti-hero, you know what I mean? He's a bad kid in school. He's not a good kid. In Persona 4, of course, the fog rolls in. It means somebody's about to die. Something horrible is about to happen. In the gameplay they were showing, it pops up and it says, in 10 days, you will be expelled. That's the problem. And I was like, okay, cool. So, but how does this work then? What are we doing? What's the thing? And what I put together is that now you use your cell phone to jump into the world instead of a TV like in Persona 4. You jump into your cell phone, and the dungeons are the people who would, in this one instance for this one thing, would be the guy who would expel you. So you're inside fighting all the way through his dungeon to get to his heart to win his heart, so that you win his heart and he has a change of heart so he doesn't expel you. And so you have this team of people who are not great people. They're just like, I don't want to get expelled. I won't do better in school. I'll go in through this weird ass thing and fight demons and shadows.
Does it strike? Because Persona's an old franchise. Started on PS1. Persona 3 to an extent, but Persona 4 was really the coming out party for the franchise.
100%.
People really fucking loved Persona 4 on PS2, and then when it came to Vita, it lived again in the golden version. Does this strike you as living up to that? Remember, Atlas hasn't released a game in a very long time, and I don't mean Atlas as a publisher. I mean Atlas's internal studio.
Yeah.
So Catherine was their last game.
Yeah.
So does this strike you as a game that's going to live up to Persona 4 and live up to the expectations that people have for this? Because this game and I always compare it. I don't think it's going to sell better than Final Fantasy 15. I think it's going to sell way better than people think it's going to sell.
Yeah.
But the expectations for this game are way higher than Final Fantasy 15's.
100%.
So do you think? So do you like people expect Final Fantasy 15 if it's good? I think a lot of people are like, thank God. You know, I think if Persona 5 is good, I think people are gonna be like, that's not nearly good enough.
Sure.
So what's your take on that?
I mean, my takeaway, remember, I'm watching it Japanese text, still Japanese voices. So from a story perspective, I don't know. I like what I'm hearing in terms of the story, that it is different, because Persona 3 was the same way. We're good kids. Let's go and stop everything. And these guys are like, well, we just want this. And I'm sure, of course, as we play, they will become good kids and there will be something big they need to stop and so on and so forth. From a technical aspect of they're doing, what they're showing, I think, yes, it's going to live up to that part of it. Because it was like, you've seen the trailers, right? Like, you're running around, you're free, you're platforming at sections, you're doing this, you're sneaking up on guys. It's not where Persona was, where it's like, I run into the dungeon and I just run around and hopefully I get behind somebody and slash, and then like a slow transition and we get into the fight. Now it is like, oh, there's a guy. I'll sneak up, I'll do this. I get over, jump on his back, rip his face off, and then as I land, the camera swings and we're right into battle. Like, it's fucking fast. You're right into it. There's a new move in there that they were talking about, the baton touch, or where they're passing the baton or whatever. And the deal is, like, you know, in the previous Personas, you could get your social links up. Social links are back in this one, so that's a big part for everybody. Get your social links up and somebody would take a mortal blow for you, but it never really mattered. You never really paid attention to it. This one, you know, you pass the baton and it's like, it's what you want, where it's like, okay, cool. All my Personas are great at fire, but this guy's invulnerable to it. So I'm going to waste a turn basically slashing at him and nothing happens. With baton touch, you can pass off to somebody in your party whoever you want, you know, whoever's got probably the strength to that weakness, and then their attacks are actually augmented and even stronger. So like, there's these little changes to it, on top of the fact that the game's beautiful, that you're running around, you know, the school, and it's, holy shit, this is awesome. You're running around, you know, Tokyo and Shibuya and all these different things. You're like, this is fucking rad. It looks great, and which is not a big part of Persona from before, but I think is going to be here in terms of a world you can get lost in. It's a callback to what John was talking about with earlier Personas. I started with Persona 3, right? Where you go in to fight these shadows this time, and you have a chance to talk to them, and you can, if you're good enough, talk them into just joining your party, and you have to fight them and shit. Yeah, another change of heart. You see what it's all about.
So what's up with the cat? Is he there?
Cat's there. The cat is everywhere. I did not pick up on this on the trailer. When your protagonist always has that bag that is in the collector's edition, the cat's in the bag. When you're at your desk in school, look at under here, the cat's there. When you're working your job, we're at the flower shop, which is one of the jobs, cat's in the back. Flower shop, of course, you get a bonus if when a guy comes in, he's like, I need flowers for this event. If you pick the right flowers, you get a fucking bonus. When you go to the baths, you get a bonus to your charm. It's like, it's Persona. It's through and through Persona. Is it going to live up to everybody's expectations? Always hard to say.
I think this game might become a victim of that, actually. Like, we're thinking about that more and more, and so many games are, you know, like Last Guardian's clearly going to be victimized by expectations. I think that Persona 5 it might be. I don't know that it's going to be victimized by expectations if it's as good as it. I think it probably is going to be.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
The thought behind it is Persona 5 hasn't. It hasn't. You're right in your fact of, like, it's been a long time since Atlas has put out a game proper, right? But Persona 4 Golden was, for so many people, the real coming out, the real spark to Persona, that I think the time between those games, and I think when you sit down and you talk about what a leap it's going to be for a Vita game to be on a Vita game compared to a PlayStation 4 game, and how fleshed out that world is for a game. Your first Persona, think about it this way: your first Persona game that isn't designed for the PlayStation 2. You know what I mean? Like that. Persona, sure, it was awesome on Vita, but limited obviously because it was a PS2 port or upres or whatever the fuck you want to call it. Like this is going to be a game where let's sneak around, let's do this, let's platform there, let's go there.
Did they show you the PS3 version or the PS4 version?
This is just footage. I assume it's PlayStation 4.
Yeah, I don't think that the PS3 version is even coming out here. Maybe
No reason to. Everybody's got a PlayStation 4 in America. Yeah. Then the final game I saw today was Tacoma, Steve Gaynor's next joint, as they call it.
How was that?
It's what I want again from a Steve Gaynor game, from a Fulbright game. The folks who did Gone Home, of course. It was great to see it in action and great to see how they're doing it. We've talked about it before. Of course, the idea of Tacoma is you are this woman who has been sent out to this space station. They've lost contact. What has happened there? You get there. And you start, they demoed from the very beginning of coming in through the space station, and there's this AI to the space station called Odin that keeps everything in check. And clearly something has gone wrong because they've lost communication. This place is screwed. Where is everybody? What's happened? And so you go in there, and then Odin immediately starts wigging out or whatever, and you land and you touch and you do this. And you go in, and then you find fragments of the AI that you, with your suit as a technician or whatever, can process to then, basically create an augmented reality of what that recording was there, of these conversations people have had. And so we've talked about it before on the show. Steve's been on the show, but to bring you up to speed or whatever, you then have these characters there that are color coded, and then when you basically look straight at them, their little face pops up so you know who they are. So you're keeping, this is the doctor, her name is such and such. You watch their conversation play out, and you can fast forward or rewind it, and then it'll be that you'll watch somebody talk, and then somebody will leave the room, and then you listen to the conversation, end it, rewind it, play it, and then follow that person to go see what they're up to. So you start piecing together. And so we went, you come in through it, and it's a space station. You're starting on the, the outer circles of it where there isn't gravity or whatever. You're out there doing your thing. Then you go make your way down to where there is gravity, and you're back on the ground. So it's giving you that feel, that vibe of being in space. But, shit's floating around. There's messages scrawled on the wall. It is that Gone Home Fulbright storytelling of, what is this? What does it mean? Where are we going with it? Which is great. And then, the demo ended with one of the AR things talking about Odin came online to be like, oh, yep, you are running out of oxygen. There's like a noise. You're running out of oxygen. Your communications are damaged. Like, what happened? Why did that happen? That's what it's all about figuring out. But it was cool just to see everybody left the room at one point. They had a meeting and everybody left the room. And then these two characters turned and went and held hands. It's like, oh, you're like a couple. And it's going to be do people know that? Do I get to watch that evolve? I'm excited.
Cool.
And I have confirmed before on the record with Steve that it's in the Gone Home universe. So I'm telling you now, one of these kids is adopted, and you know who they're the kids of.
Guys, great news. I thought I lost it, but I got my Beat Cop.
Come here. We sent you to see games. You need to sit down. I'm going to go sit. Tell us about Beat Cop, Nick.
It's cool, guys. First off, they gave me this sweet Beat Cop shirt. I'll just angle this mic down a little bit toward me. You'll notice that it has a donut with blood coming out of it.
I forgot that I got a Sweet Persona hat, too.
There's a lot going on, Colin. Do you have anything? You got some
barely
Horizon
hanging on to
Zero
my
Dawn
sanity
underwear?
at this point. That's all I have.
There you go. Beat Cop's fun. It's silly. It's right up my alley. I also saw LawBreakers
fuck is it?
Oh, shit, yeah, you
this
saw
morning.
LawBreakers. What was LawBreakers?
That was fun. I mean, I'm a little out of my element with that because it's a keyboard and mouse fucking insane shooter.
Nerd.
Cliffy B game.
Very Cliff. You saw Cliff for a second. Said hello to him. He was on his way out, so he didn't get a chance to tell me how awesome I am. But I think we locked eyes. He kind of we recognized.
I get it.
Do you know what I mean?
It. Yeah.
But LawBreakers is fun. I mean, it's and I was terrible at it. I was arguably the worst person. We were playing 5-on-5. It's cool. It's all based on gravity. So you have these gravity bubbles in the middle of levels, and as you get toward them, strange shit happens, and you can use that to your advantage vertically to fire on people. Having said that, I did not get the gist of it until maybe the last minute because I kept trying to different classes, and finally I went to the Titan, which just had an RPG the entire time that I called the Some Bitch. So that was fun. I don't think they're ever going to have me back. I was very loud, but I enjoyed myself. And those are the two games that I saw. Oh, we saw some other games. You talked about Sea of Thieves, which was fun.
Yeah, the one thing
We'll have to
that
get
we
drunk
didn't talk
and
about
play
yet that we played together was Cuphead.
Yes.
Which it's really weird. There's two totally different ends of the spectrum on this.
Yeah.
The platforming section. Ooh. not good.
I told you
That's
guys. And
what
just
it-
what we were talking about in the video,
Yeah.
I'm like, there's something off
So
about
it's
this.
not that it's not good, but it is punishingly hard.
So
Well, that's fine, but it seemed like it was
it's not-
incoherent.
Yeah, it's incoherently difficult, not because it's fun or designed well, just because there's so many animations happening. Like, remember when we were watching it and we're like, this looks kind of easy, like weirdly? No, it's fucking hard. That guy was a pro. He knows exactly what he's doing. This is weird because the animations, you can't really tell what hurts you and what doesn't hurt you. And there's a lot of things going on where there's
Now,
different layers going on.
We
where
should know
there's
we played co-op. So if you're going to play single player, it's probably a little bit easier to decipher what's happening.
What's going on.
But with two of us on screen and like the ever persistent shooting, which by the way, it's got a lot of fun touches to it as far as the audio is concerned. Like when you shoot, it goes like you're making that sound
with
with your
mouth
lips.
noise, which is kind of
So
weird.
there's a lot of
'cause
cool.
The rest of it's all
well, it's very 1920s. It's
Yeah.
got that cool, that old school Mickey Mouse vibe. But I think it would be a little bit easier to play if it weren't for the fact that Tim and I were running around like idiots, just trying to shoot every single thing on the map. Plus, they were trying to explain to us
Some
how
of the
some of the
mechanics.
others mechanics work, and I was like, that doesn't make any
It
sense.
doesn't. Yeah. So there's like a mechanic where you can bring your co-op partner back if they die. Because when they die, they turn into a ghost.
Right.
If you jump up and do like a flip kick thing to the ghost, it'll bring them back. And it's like,
Your double jump has a flip kick embedded in it, and so if you can get to him, you can save him. But it takes a little, they float pretty quickly up the stage.
a lot of the platforming stuff felt very thrown together of just like, all right, we're going to make platforming
What's
parts
the word
here.
about it? I mean, right? Like that they made their game. They're making their game, and then people decided it wasn't a game. You know, so they
Now, having said that, the boss fight's excellent. Fucking awesome.
It's cool, but I mean, I
We
would-
played
I mean,
on with the boss fight we did was on easy. That's why.
Well, I mean, it was still hard, but I also want to see what the kind of later level boss fights are going to look like, because this one was a little like it was very simple.
Well,
Like, you
yeah.
can tell it was very early on.
I mean, definitely,
but
but
it's still brutal.
I mean, I've played that same boss fight on normal before, and it was way more challenging.
Yeah,
than it was,
sure.
especially doing co-op. Like we had the advantage there. But I think the boss fights parts are going to be super awesome. The platforming, it was just really incoherent, and it was just
Yeah.
like it was. I kept dying, and I kept understanding why I died, but I didn't think it was justified.
You're right,
And
sure,
I was just like,
sure,
God,
sure.
that kind of sucked.
But it does handle a little better. And Colin, I think you had, if I heard it correctly, you had an interesting comment that it was a little too claustrophobic. That they needed to
zoom out.
zoom it out a little bit.
Yep.
I didn't feel that was an issue, honestly. Unless co-op would have been nice to have a little bit more room on each side, but single player I think would have been fine.
I mean, it's just the animations are too much, man. Things are just flying around and being blocked by what the foreground and background stuff, and it's just like that's just not good design with that. So I don't know, I don't like that at all. But I think the game's going to be really good, and I can't wait to actually sit down and play with it. I wish I didn't have to use an Xbox One controller though, because playing a 2D platformer with that thing is just it's less than ideal to say
way
the
better
least.
than Xbox 360 though.
Oh, absolutely. But I mean,
Unplayable on Xbox
but
360.
I would love a DualShock 4 for this. Just like that D-pad is just so much better, and even the face buttons, just the way that they feel. I don't know. There's something about 2D games that just don't vibe well on the Xbox controller, but I'm just not made for it. Yeah. Did you play anything else after that?
No, that was it. I think that I wrapped up my day with the Xbox showcase that we did, and that was pretty much it.
So we were
were
trying
gonna
to
play
Recor,
which was
but-
cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, but we didn't get a chance
Yeah.
to.
Lines.
Dead Rising?
No, there was a whole bunch of issues with lines and stuff. But
it was packed.
then went to
Xbox,
the
turns out pretty popular.
pretty popular.
Yeah.
We went to the guys from Silicon Valley were there too.
Were they?
Yeah.
Oh, I love
they
those
walked
guys.
up
They
the
were there
stairs
last
as
year
we were
too.
going down, but I didn't want to make a big deal to you because
What? I would have flipped out. I
Yeah.
love that show.
Yeah, it's cool. We went to the PlayStation thing, and I got to play The Last Guardian. It exists, and it's real, and I played it. I couldn't believe I was playing it even when I was playing it. It's
not very good, is it?
It's good. It's not great. It's not fantastic. But I also...
Look at this. For anyone listening to this, the creepy sort of Colin's right smile that just creeped across Colin's face it was priceless. It was very well done.
It really feels like an Eco sequel, not necessarily Shadow of the Colossus sequel. And I think that's a weird step back. But I was telling Greg, and we did a whole reacts to it that you can check out on the channel. But overall, I do think that it's a victim of hype, and I don't think that that's necessarily fair. I think that this game is being judged just for what it is, and it's just coming out, and will people like it? I don't think any of that's really going to affect it. It's going to be a good game. I don't think it's going to be bad. I also don't think it's going to be a masterpiece, but I do think that the artfulness is there, and the style is all there. It looks like a PS2 game that was up-res to a PS3 game playing on a PS4.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, like it reminds me of the look of like the God of War remastered games, where everything just kind of seems a little bit off, you know, and like the fucking hats.
Sorry.
It's just, I don't know. The looks,
You're not sorry at all.
Looks
No.
good, but the direction of the art is beautiful and gorgeous.
Yeah, I mean-
and the emotion that I got playing the game, I thought was really interesting because there was a whole range there, and I think that them kind of really focusing on the pet human connection and all that stuff. Like I can imagine them exploring that in some really cool, unique ways, and I think the game's going to be very special to the people that connect with it.
Yeah, I mean, just to be clear, I mean, the game is going to be victimized by hype regardless of how good it
100%.
is, and it's no one's fault but Sony's. So that's an important thing to put out there. You know, that's not the people's fault that have been anticipating. That's about PS3s for the people bought the PS3s for this game. So that's Sony's fault. They should have released the game as it was. You know, continue down that path, even if it was going to be a 6. Just get it out of the way and be done with it.
Take your lump and go.
I'll be super interested to see how this is. The Last Guardian, I was supposed to, I think I had an appointment to play it maybe, or I don't care. It's like, I'll play it when it comes out. But I'm super intrigued by how that game does. Because I really do feel like that game's going to land with a fucking thud.
I mean, I think that no matter what, if that game was announced at E3 and came out in 2 months, I still think it would have thudded.
It's coming out in October, right?
Yeah.
It's just not the type of
Suicidal.
game that I think would do well.
It's completely suicidal.
Regardless of timing, so regardless of hype. But yeah, I do think it's going to be a victim of it, specifically from the review sense. Like I think reviews are going to destroy this game. So
Yeah.
that sucks, but whatever. I mean, I had fun playing it. I definitely want to play more.
I'm intrigued. I'm going to go into it with an open mind.
For it.
Yeah.
But it was one of the games that was on my short list for potentially giving one of my games the year award or game of the show awards after playing it. And now that I played it, I'm definitely not giving it that. So there's that. I also got to play Resident Evil 7.
No shit, you did?
The VR thing. I didn't do the whole demo because I ran out of
A lot of
time.
people say they get car sick playing it.
So the thing with the sickness with this is I've done a lot of VR stuff and it's never
I'm down with it.
it's never made me feel sick. This Resident Evil one, it kind of did, but I wonder how much of that is the fact that the game was scaring me. You know, was the fact that the game was making me feel uneasy.
Sure.
It didn't really make me feel like I was going to throw up or anything, but I felt tense and I felt uncomfortable. But I wonder how much of that was the actual game, and I think that it was the game. It's the same type of feeling I got playing PT, you know. But there's something about the VR. This game is fucking scary. It's fucking scary as hell, and I'm scared of playing it. Like the idea of playing through this game alone in my house is horrifying. The idea of playing it with Nick around me, even more horrifying.
What if Kevin's over on the
No,
couch?
God, I'm not playing with Kevin.
The idea of playing it in a VR headset with headphones on with no awareness or situational awareness around you is actually the most horrifying. Well, that's why I can't wait to play it like that. I can't wait.
You're gonna love it. It's so
love that shit, man.
so good because when you play the demo just like the normal on TV, because I was watching some other people do that, it's like, yeah, it's PT. It's really scary, cool. But when you play it with the VR, all of a sudden every single corner turns into a horrifying thing. There was only about 3 jump scares in the demo. Paced really well, I thought. But it didn't matter. The jump scares were just icing on the cake when it came to the stuff. It was every other moment of tenseness when you're seeing the corner and you're like, is there something over there? I don't even want to look. But because you're physically looking, like every single thing you do becomes so much more real. And the survival horror, man, it's like, this is how you do it. And I think that they're going to really knock it out of the park with this one. It felt like a game. It is a game. I was talking to them. It's going to be in the Resident Evil series. This is not a complete reboot or whatever.
Takes place before 6, right? That's what I had heard.
I don't know about exactly where it falls, but it definitely is. The characters exist, like the outbreaks there or whatever. And a big part of the story of this game is kind of wondering how it does connect, because it doesn't seem like it does in the beginning when you're just in the house and there's all the shit going on. So I am very thrilled with that game. Might give that one of my awards.
You got to start deciding. We're running out of time.
I know, but tomorrow. We got tomorrow. I need time to think about it.
Okay.
What else did I see? I feel like I'm missing something here.
Can we look at your schedule?
Yeah, that'd be cool.
I can look at it for you. I'm here. Don't
Yeah.
worry. You just tell people
Did
about
the
whatever.
Ubisoft stuff.
Didn't you have
The
things you had to
Ghost
say during the show?
Recon,
Just say those things while I look at this.
the Ghost Recon. Oh, Kingdom Hearts. I played Kingdom Hearts.
Play Kingdom Hearts?
Point 2 Birth by Sleep, whatever. It's the
Kingdom Farts.
Got him, Colin.
Got
Good
him.
one.
It's the new like prologue. So Metal Gear Solid had Ground Zeroes before it had Phantom
Yeah.
Pain. This is essentially that for Kingdom Hearts 3. It's part of Kingdom Hearts 2.8 that comes out, 2.8 that comes out in December, and it's running in the Kingdom Hearts 3 engine. So it's kind of cool getting a nice little taste of Kingdom Hearts 3 finally, and it's fun playing as Aqua, and I was definitely impressed.
Thank you.
With the look and feel of it all, and playing with the PS4 controller and all that. It's really fucking nice. So excited about that. Got to play Deus Ex Go for a second. The Go series is fantastic.
Yeah.
Definitely
Not real until it
check
comes to Vita.
That shit out.
This kid knows. That guy knows. That guy knows.
Give me a high five. Give me a high five.
my fucking god damn it, Nick. Have you started this shit where I can't trust anyone to high five me?
It's true. You can't. Anyways, there's one more day of E3. We're gonna play a whole bunch more games tomorrow. We'll do the final Gamescast wrap up then. Until then, I love you.
You can leave that in there. Easter eggs.